Welcome to Sculpture Studios. We've been asked to create a piece of sculpture now of a Newry dock worker. We were approached by Tony Stallard, who we've worked with in the past, on a giant bronze Titanic sculpture that's now in Belfast, and Tony said that this new figure we're making for him was going to be taken from our studio when he's finished, and also cast in real bronze. The sculpture's going to be a fraction larger than life size, just so he really stands out, and it's going to be simplistically carved so that we get a real feel for the work he's doing, as opposed to the character himself. We looked at old references of workers from years ago, and Tony gave us a clay model to work from. From this maquette, Aden scales up and draws the front and side references on a single block of polystyrene, and he uses a table-mounted hot wire to cut it all out. The excess material was removed to give the basic shape, and the extended arms are going to be added later. Here you can see the cube is formed, and much like a stoneworker, Aden needs to whittle the material away to reveal the figure that's waiting somewhere inside. He begins by using nail brushes to take the polystyrene off quickly, and then switches to finer and finer tools to hone down on the detail. He uses wire brushes and then sandpapers to flatten down the surface once he's happy with the form. Even though we were given the brief of a rough figure, it's important to refer back to the original images and concept designs to ensure we're making exactly what the client wants. The quality of the work is often a reflection of how satisfied the client is, in that we've made exactly what was specified. Often we go above and beyond to do more than what's needed, but that's to ensure we create the best work possible and to do what's right for the project. Aden was asked to make the face look old-fashioned with a turn-of-the-century look, so he's carving it out of clay and giving him a large handlebar moustache, much was the rage back then. We invite Tony down to the studio, as it's always good to get a client's input and see what they think. He highlighted a couple of small changes and minor details before the sculpture's finished, and Aden goes ahead and makes these adjustments. He carves a block and tackle, complete with ropes for the docker to hold on to, and he reinforces it with extra rope around the metal pole so that it's attached firmly to the figure. As often with bronze casting, much like the finishes on our bronze bust, the surface is left rough to make it look like a solid lump of metal, and it adds to the weight and grit of the sculpture. For the purpose of carving, Aden's added different tinges of blue and white to the plaster so we can see all the different layers and textures. With the sculpture being out in the public, we've added an extra rope for the docker to hold onto for extra strength. This saves it from being damaged or broken if a member of the public wants to pull or hold onto it. And here's the finished piece in its carving stage, ready to be taken away from our studio for moulding and then casting in bronze. During the casting process, a metalwork structure was added to the feet of the docker so that he could be securely anchored to the ground. He was then brought to site and fixed in place with concrete as a solid base, and then he was covered for the opening ceremony, alongside a plaque to commemorate all those that worked and died in the Port of Newry. Often when we create sculptures with a metallic bronze or copper look, we use an artistic effect purely for aesthetics, as it's often seen from a distance, as well as this being cost effective. But for this piece, the real weight and feel of the material needed to be there, as the public would be up close and interacting with it, and that's why real bronze was used. Please feel free to leave any comments below, as they're always appreciated, and hit the subscribe button for our latest videos. You can like Sculpture Studios on Facebook, and for more of our work, visit sculpturestudios.co.uk. Thank you very much for watching.